I was born being able to hear objects talk. Telephone poles roast me every day about the smell of stray dog pee. Trash cans cry day and night that the trash stinks. The greenery near my home wails every few days because someone spat on it. Most of the time, I wish I were deaf. After all, in my ears, it's just objects shouting insults. It's really hard to keep a good look. But this ability that's annoyed me for 18 years actually allowed me, while being humiliated by a master of relic restoration, to grind his reputation into dust. Later, he was disgraced for academic fraud, while I stood on the podium he only ever dreamed of reaching. I won the Bureau of Cultural Relics Lifetime Achievement Award.
Sigh, we've tried everything. Unfortunately, the damage is too severe. It's completely beyond repair. Our only choice is to incinerate it.
Everyone was mourning the national treasure. Only in my ears, a sharp sound suddenly exploded, loud enough to nearly tear my eardrums.
Get lost. What kind of crap is trying to stick to me?
That voice came from the glow state, black lacquerware on the stage.
I want sky blue.
Sky blue. But I was only a freshman, while the man standing on stage was a legend in relic restoration. I knew if I spoke up, everyone's gaze would pierce me like knives, but the screaming grew more shrill. I was practically pushed to my feet by that voice. Maybe try this. And in my ears, the treasure about to be burned suddenly got excited, as if it had found a lifeline.
Girl, you get me. This is the color. You've got taste.
Who are you?
Zhou Changgang's gaze was slow and cold. I knew I looked out of place, but I knew that the lacquerware on the stage was something only I could save.
Girl, you get it. This is exactly the right color. Sophisticated.
I'm an artifact restoration major. I heard there was an exhibit today, so I came specifically to see it.
Which school?
City Academy of Fine Arts.
What year?
Freshman. As the word freshman left my lips, I saw the surprise in his eyes quickly turn into contempt.
A freshman. Kid, this is a national treasure. It's not some junk from your backyard. Thinking you can use any color you want just because you feel like it? Do you think you're Da Vinci?
My cheeks were burning hot, but I didn't dare put down the palette. Because the lacquerware was still screaming in my ear.
Knowing I'm worth a fortune, yet you're still smearing that junk on me?
He stood under the spotlight, representing authority. And I stood before him, young and unknown. Hardly even finished with my coursework. The disparity was so obvious. So obvious that he didn't need to say a word. The tourists in the audience had already sided with him.
Young people these days are just too restless. They learn a little something and then start showing off. They simply don't understand the responsibility of relic restoration.
But was I supposed to say that I heard this lacquerware tell me itself it wanted azure? Everyone would think I've lost it.
This Guo State black lacquerware is currently the oldest lacquerware ever discovered in the world. Its value is immeasurable. If the restoration fails, this piece of lacquerware will lose all its research value for the resulting loss. Can you take responsibility?
His voice wasn't intense, but it cut right through my self-esteem. Right then, the old lacquerware lady in my ear blew up again.
Smells like cheap glue, stinking and ugly. You broke loser.
This accent. This temper. This way of cursing. In its past life, it probably really had seen it all. But Zhou Changgang couldn't hear her at all. Seeing my silence, he looked satisfied. As if he'd finally put a disrespectful student back in her place.
This artifact can't be fixed. Curator Liu. Once the data is recorded, just go ahead and burn it.
I can tell he doesn't want to let it go. That's no ordinary exhibit, it's a piece worthy of being a museum's centerpiece, a top-tier artifact. But lacquerware is too hard to preserve. If it's not restored properly, within 3 days, it'll oxidize into a pile of scrap. Even Zhou Changgang said there's no way. It's like a death sentence that's already been passed.
I'm only 3,000 years old. I don't want to die yet. Girl, hurry and save your auntie.
Should I save it? The humiliation of being mocked in public is still burning on my face. and returning to the audience now won't cost me anything. The loss of a civilization's legacy is heavy, but it won't ruin my life. But if I take this on and fail, everything I have might be destroyed right here. The lacquerware wails even louder in my ear. There's finally no trace of arrogance in its voice.
Girl, your auntie is begging you. In over 3,000 years, your auntie has only ever begged you. Do you want to get rich? If you're down to save me, I can tell you where the other artifacts are all located. You can dig them up and sell them for a fortune.
The crying made my skin crawl. But I couldn't help but think. About your immature way of thinking, we have established laws for that. Don't burn it. Let me try. In that moment, I knew there was no turning back.
You're just a wet behind the ears brat. Talk about being overconfident.
The curator gave me a conflicted look. He seemed like he wanted to talk me out of it, yet he also couldn't bear to see me throw myself into the fire.
Enough, young lady. I know you mean well. But Professor Zhou is a titan in the world of artifact restoration. He's handled countless artifacts. If even he can't do it, then don't make things worse.
Please, I beg you. Just let me try. I promise I won't let you down.
A promise? How can you guarantee that? Who do you think you are, to dare question my judgment? If I can't even restore this artifact, what makes a student like you think you're worthy? Let me tell you something. She Academy of Fine Arts graduates 5,000 undergrads every year, 2,000 graduate students, and 400 PhDs. But those who actually make it to me are fewer than 5.
One step back, and the lacquerware will be burned. One step forward, and I could be finished. But that trembling sob in my ear wouldn't stop.
Girl, don't you dare back down. Your aunt's entire livelihood is riding on you.
I looked up. When I met Zhou Changgeng's gaze, the entire exhibition hall felt like it was gripped by an invisible hand. Those cameras, the whispers,
and those contemptuous looks
all weighed heavily on my shoulders. But in my ears, the old lacquerware auntie was still crying. I couldn't ignore its miserable wails. I'm willing to bet my enrollment. If I fail, you can rat me out to the school for malicious destruction of a relic. Zhou Changgeng froze for a moment, as if he didn't expect me to actually stand my ground.
A freshman's enrollment, how much is that worth? It's not even in the same league as a relic.
My palms were soaked with sweat. But my voice actually grew steady. But this is the best sincerity I can offer. In that moment, I knew there was no turning back. I couldn't just stand by and watch a national treasure burn, even if I had to put my career, reputation, and even my future all on the table. He seems to be judging me, and securing himself a witness stand where he can't lose.
Fine. Let all the tourists here be our witnesses. If you succeed, I'll make an exception and take you as my PhD student. If you fail, not only will your enrollment be revoked, but you'll also go to prison for malicious damage to cultural relics.
The brush is light, yet it feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Auntie Lacquerware is sobbing in my ear, but I can only pray silently in my head. Auntie Lacquerware, I'm saving you today. You'd better protect me. The moment the tip of the pen touches down, all the sounds in the gallery fade into the distance. I can hear my own breathing, and I can also hear the restoration pen as it glides across the lacquer, making a faint, soft scratching noise. The crack is like an old wound, running across the lacquerware and between me and Zhou Changgeng. Azure seeps into the crevice little by little, like a faint beam of light, gently holding up that piece of blackness on the verge of shattering.
Ah, girl, you get me. This is the color. Great taste.
Its voice grows arrogant again, but my frayed nerves don't dare to relax. The closer I get to the end, the more afraid I am. I'm afraid of a single mistake, afraid that everyone is waiting to see me fall. Afraid that this 3,000-year-old soul will really vanish at my hands. Professor Zhou, I did it. But the lacquerware is flawless. No chipped edges, no mismatched colors, and no signs of failure that he had imagined.
You're quite good at taking shortcuts.
What did you say?
I tried every color beforehand. except for the azure color, which contrasts sharply with the lacquerware. Anyone slightly observant would have noticed. This doesn't mean your skills are enough to become a qualified restorer.
I looked at him and suddenly realized that some people don't fail to see the answer. They just refuse to admit they're wrong. You're the one who couldn't fix it yourself, causing the artifact to nearly be destroyed by fire. Now that I've succeeded, how can you back out now?
Because I earned my way here on my own merit.
Professor Zhou, something is wrong. There's an issue with the display for the Eastern Han Wuzhu tripod. A problem has occurred. The tripod on the stand is shaking uncontrollably. It won't stay upright at all.
My heart skipped a beat. A smile played on his lips, but it was as cold as a knife. I knew he had finally found the chance to turn the tables on me.
Don't you have outstanding skills? Weren't you able to restore an artifact that even I found difficult to fix? Why don't you come up and handle this so a professor like me can see for himself?
That young student is clearly intimidated. His gaze is shifting between me and Zhou Changgang, back and forth. He probably knows that pushing a freshman into a situation like this is unfair. But in front of Zhou Changgang, he doesn't even have the courage to speak up. When I was restoring the lacquerware earlier, those cameras were recording a miracle. Now they're waiting to record my humiliation.
This freshman from your school just used her own solid professional skills to restore the lacquerware that even I couldn't fix. I'm sure she also has a way to deal with this tripod. Weren't you so confident in your own abilities? Didn't you repeatedly question and deny my judgment? Then I'll give you this chance to prove yourself.
He's not giving me a chance. He's forcing me to fall into his trap.
Go ahead. Show us your expertise. Rub it in my face. Let me know exactly what I've missed and just how brilliant you are.
I stand before the display table, suddenly feeling an almost suffocating silence. Actually, the exhibition hall isn't quiet. People are whispering, some are adjusting their live stream angles, and others are pushing their lenses closer, trying to capture my every blink. But those sounds feel miles away. The only sound pressing against my ears is my own heartbeat. If I can make this tripod stand, the labels Zhou Changgang just forced on me frivolous, conceited, and opportunistic will only then be torn away. But if I fail, he will naturally nail me to the pillar of shame as a troublemaker. I look down at the tripod legs, trying to hear its voice just as I did with the lacquerware lady. I listen for a sound, but there's nothing. It's as silent as a truly dead object. The longer I stay silent, the more obvious the triumph in his eyes becomes.
What do you mean there's no way? I've been teaching for over 40 years. I've seen plenty of students like you. Your ambitions are through the roof. You learn a few technical terms, read a couple of books on archaeology, and suddenly you think you're a genius. You're way too ambitious. You have no respect for your superiors. You're literally the scum of the restoration world, a parasite.
Those words hit me one by one, like jagged stones. My throat tightened, but I couldn't back down. Because I knew, if I took one step back, no one would ever hear me out. Earlier, the good looks shattered by the Guo State lacquerware all turned into even more vicious words, weighing down on me.
Trash, a cancer. The B-City Academy of Fine Arts is ashamed to have a student like you. It feels nothing but shame. So young, yet you think you can reach the top in one go. You don't even know your own worth. You're out of your league.
My cheeks were burning, as if every eye in the gallery was scorching me at once. Resentment, anger, fear, tore at my chest over and over. I lower my voice, practically begging. No one here believes me. But if it's willing to speak up, I'd still have a chance. What exactly is wrong? Just tell me, okay? Tell me. I can help you. Still, I'm met with nothing but silence. The whispering from the audience drifts into my ears, like damp vines, slowly tightening around my neck.
Is Professor Zhou going too far? She's just a young girl, after all.
Just a young girl. Is he being this strict about it?
This is relic restoration. One slip-up could cost millions. Can she really handle that responsibility?
If you ask me, Professor Zhou is being lenient.
Write down your major, name, and student ID. I need to have a serious talk with your professor.
I look at the paper, suddenly realizing he really wants to ruin me. That paper is almost weightless, yet it sits on my chest like a boulder. Major, name, student ID. The moment I finish writing, Zhou Changgang will use disrupting the exhibition, challenging authority, and risking damage to cultural relics as an excuse to drag me back to school and slowly crush my future. I can't write it. But if I don't, I must make this vessel stand. It clearly has a soul, but it's locked itself away. Like a child who's been hurt too much to ever trust anyone again. Just as the silence was about to crush me, the lacquerware lady's voice suddenly erupted.
Bullying a young girl just because you're older? You old man, have you no shame? Don't you dare back down, kid. I've put everything I have on the line for you.
Her voice was frantic and angry. Even though she'd just barely escaped ruin herself, she was still fighting for me. In that moment, my nose suddenly stung. Just as my vision blurred at that very moment, a strange, muffled voice suddenly rang in my ear.
What I want isn't any of that.
The voice was faint, yet like a fine needle, it suddenly pierced through all the noise around me. In that instant, I almost thought I'd misheard. After all, just moments ago, no matter how I tried to soothe it, it remained like a piece of truly silent brass, keeping its heart tightly shut. But now, it finally spoke. The paper with my major, name, and student ID sat right in front of me. A flimsy sheet of paper, yet it felt heavy enough to crush me. Its voice was muffled, tinged with a bit of grievance and a kind of stubbornness from being misunderstood for too long. Tell me, what do you want? I finally understand. It's not that it's unstable. It's that it refuses to be weighed down by things that don't belong to it. Logic tells me that this move is so ridiculous it's nuts. An Eastern Han tripod at a restoration exhibit. Thousands of eyes, the nation's top experts. Every single word is completely out of place with what's in my hand. But I know one thing for sure. If I don't believe in it, no one will. He's waiting for me to crack, waiting for me to write my student ID, waiting to nail a freshman to a pillar of shame for being so arrogant. I didn't explain further. Time was tight. I couldn't afford to overthink it. As the plastic wrapper fell into the tripod, it made the faintest sound. Countless eyes were glued to my hands. Shock, absurdity, mockery, and disbelief. All these emotions blurred together, practically solidifying the air. As I slowly loosened my grip, my heart rose further into my throat. Finally, the moment my palm fully left the tripod leg, I almost forgot to breathe. The Eastern Han Wuzhu tripod didn't fall. No base. No stand. No tools to support it. It just stood there steadily on the table, like a silent little mountain, completely motionless. The noise in the exhibition hall seemed to be cut short. Professor Zhou, I did it. The same words, I say for the second time. But this time, the color in Zhou Changgeng's face drains even more completely. He stares at the vessel, as if he's staring at some kind of monster that shouldn't exist.
This is impossible. I'll see for myself exactly what you put in there.
I watch his expression turn from rage to bewilderment. And from bewilderment, bit by bit, it fractures into humiliation. Thousands of eyes witnessed it. It was a package containing something no one could believe.
Holy guacamole. What's going on? Am I seeing things?
She actually threw into the tripod a bag of pickles. The world has truly gone nuts.
The key is, the tripod actually stood firm. Is this my karma for staying up late scrolling through videos?
Because originally, it was just a pickle jar. As soon as I said that, the shock in the exhibition hall instantly changed its tone. The cameras pointed at me, and at Zhou Changgeng. Everyone's waiting to see where this out-of-control exhibition will go next. All things have a spirit. The tomb's owner and the jar spent over 60 years together, and he used it to pickle vegetables for over 60 years. You're putting all sorts of plastic products inside its body, so of course it feels uncomfortable.
What a joke. Do you even know who the tomb's owner was? It was unearthed from the tomb of the Lady of Chengel of the Eastern Han. aka the descendant of the founding official, Grand Marshal Huo Guang, and sister to Her Majesty the Empress. She was a noblewoman, famous in history for being refined and elegant. And now you're telling me that this woman from a prestigious family, known for being virtuous and demure, would use a pickle jar as a funerary object? It's literally a total joke.
I don't blame him for reacting so strongly. Even when I heard the cauldron's voice, I also felt a moment of disconnect. Throughout history, there has never been a law stating that noblewomen can't eat pickles. I know. It's not that he can't accept the pickles. What he can't accept is that a freshman publicly overturned the authority he spoke of.
You're just twisting words.
I finally felt a sense of relief. But this alone isn't enough to silence everyone. What I want to show them is the evidence Zhou Changgang trusts most and can't possibly deny. As you all know, tripods in ancient times were essential ritual tools. Their main purpose was to cook sacrificial meat. A tripod used for cooking would typically have a grayish-black interior or show uneven soot stains. I can feel the tide favoring Zhou Changgang starting to turn. But look at the inner wall of this tripod, which shows a fine, dark green layer of rust. This was formed by long-term salt brine corrosion. Zhou Changgang's expression suddenly changed. Almost instinctively, he took a step forward, as if trying to use his body to block the screen. But it was too late. Those tourists might not understand everything about the technical details, but they can understand Zhou Changgang's suddenly frozen expression. This is only the first piece of evidence. What truly pins down this tripod's identity is the evidence right by its handles. If the tripod hadn't told me itself that it was once bound by hemp rope, tightly coiled to stay hush, I might not have noticed it right away. Normally, ritual vessels represent a channel to the divine. Therefore, they are extremely well preserved. Even after thousands of years, they would only show signs of natural oxidation. But on this Eastern Han Wuzhu tripod's handles, there are two irregular grooves. If anyone present has ever pickled vegetables, they would know. This is what happens when a pickling jar is sealed. It's the wear and tear from hemp rope. The applause starts with just a few scattered claps. It soon grows into a roar, making the gallery glass seem to tremble. I stand on the stage, my palms still holding the cold touch of the tripod. But right now, my chest is burning. The doubting glares no longer sting like knives.
Heroes have always come from the youth. The restoration world is about to welcome a true genius.
All those web novels weren't read in vain. I actually ran into a legendary saintess.
I'm not bowing to enjoy the applause. I'm doing it for the tripod that was misunderstood for too long, and for the old lacquerware piece that was almost burned. Zhou Changgang's usual lofty arrogance is crushed to pieces. But I know his type won't give up easily. His eyes are still darting, like a snake backed into a corner, still looking for a way to turn the tables. From the first time he mocked me for being a little kid, to forcing me to bet my enrollment and my future. And then just now, using the term noblewoman as a weight to crush me, the resentment I've been bottling up has finally reached its limit. I can handle professional criticism, but I can't accept a teacher using their authority to humiliate students. Some secrets can't be told, but some things must be said today. What makes a person human is their individuality. Noblewoman was a common term for women of status under the social system of that era, and for later generations, it's a general way to refer to the noble women of history. But every noblewoman had her own soul, temperament and personality, just like you. A teacher's duty is to impart knowledge and resolve doubts. Yet you use your status as a professor to subject your students to reckless dragging and insults. If someone like you can still be called a teacher, then the Empress's elder sister eating pickles shouldn't be a problem for anyone. Professor Zhou. Don't you think? After I dropped that rhetorical question, the air in the hall seemed to be sucked out instantly. Zhou Changgang's expression kept shifting, but I knew he got the point. I used the analogy about eating pickles to mock him. He hides behind the title of a teacher, but doesn't act like one at all. People like him, who have spent decades in the world of fame and status, are never good at admitting they're wrong. Instead, they're experts at dressing up their mistakes as righteous excuses.
I admit my earlier attitude was a bit offensive, but it came from my concern for the safety of the artifacts. Every artifact is a vessel of civilization, a footnote to history. The research value they hold is immeasurable. since this is our first time meeting. For me, regarding someone I'm unfamiliar with, the abilities of a freshman to express doubt of a freshman I barely know, it's perfectly reasonable. Ultimately, I'm acting in the interest of the artifact's safety and the development of civilization.
He spoke eloquently, maintaining a high and mighty posture. As if the man who just publicly called me scum and a parasite forced me to write down my student ID and try to ruin my future, wasn't him at all. Professor Zhou. It's good to be confident, but overconfidence turns into arrogance. There's always someone better, and there's always more to learn. There's plenty in this world that you don't know. In my year, the lacquer auntie was so excited she was practically jumping.
That was great, girl. I'm rooting for you. When dealing with a disgusting old man like him, you have to slap him in the face like that.
The person who stopped me was the director. Just now, I talked back to Zhou Changgong until he was completely humiliated. To most people, it might feel satisfying. But in this seniority-based game, it might lead to trouble.
Hello there. Here's my card. You must know Professor Zhou's standing in the game. I'm afraid your path forward won't be easy. I might not be as influential as Professor Zhou. But if you're down for it, the doors to the National Museum will always be open to you.
I looked down at the business card. Blue text on white. Clean. Like a beam of light falling into the dust. The curator's contact info was on it. He said he wasn't as capable as Zhou Changgong. But the weight of this card is already a peak that countless people give their all, but can never reach. I never expected to skyrocket to the top. Nor did I want to use today's drama to trade for a life of luxury. But I couldn't refuse such a gentle and sincere kindness. Thank you, Curator Liu. If I ever get the chance to study under you, please don't turn me away.
If you're down for it, nothing would make me happier.
Would it be okay if you let me take another look at the artifacts on display today? I was having a moment earlier and didn't get to appreciate them properly.
Of course, take your time.
The door closed with a soft click, as if it were shutting out the noisy world for me. About earlier. Thank you. No one answered me. The gallery was so quiet that I could only hear my own breathing. Silence, like a thin layer of dust, settled between me and the ding. I didn't rush it. Artifacts have slept for too long. Too much hurt cannot be cleared away with just a single question. They aren't like people, who can cry out in pain or injustice, or scream about being treated unfairly. They were buried in the earth, placed in display cases, and scrutinized by countless eyes, but rarely does anyone truly ask, "Are you sad?" Just when I thought it was going to once again retreat into silence, by my ear, a muffled voice suddenly spoke.
No need to thank me, I just didn't like seeing him bully you.
My heart felt like it was nudged by something soft. It turns out that earlier, under everyone's gaze, the voice that saved me wasn't a coincidence. It saw my embarrassment, and it saw Zhou Changgong's arrogance. Then could you tell me why you're able to know the difference between yourself and a sacrificial vessel? It went silent again. I gave a small smile, not wanting to push. It's okay if you don't want to talk. But I know you're the absolute best vessel in the world. You couldn't stand him picking on me, so you spoke up for me and gave me advice. I'm truly grateful to you. This time, it wasn't the vessel that spoke first, but the one beside it, that feisty anti-lacquerware.
Oh, child, why are you being so difficult? Just say what's on your mind. With me and the girl here, we promise you won't be mistreated at all.
The sob was very faint. Yet compared to the cracks on any bronzeware in the hall, it was even more piercing. So even artifacts can feel insecure, also carving others' mockery into their bodies over and over. Even after 1,000 years, they still don't think they're a good look.
Because they all made fun of me, they mocked me, for the salt and rust on my body, and the grooves near my ears. They even said, a perfectly good cauldron used for pickles is literally a disgrace to them all.
Who are they?
The other cauldrons. But I really, really love pickles. Pickles are the best food in the world. Compared to those charred pigs, cows, and sheep, they're a million times better. But they say, a cauldron that likes pickles is the lowest of the low.
Before I could even offer comfort, anti-lacquerware already went off.
What do they mean, a cauldron that likes pickles is the lowest of the low? A bunch of brats, trying to pull that bullying crap. Kiddo, I've got you. Tell me all their names. If I ever run into them, I'll skin them alive.
Anti-lacquerware's outburst scared me out of my wits. Auntie, Let's watch our language. Don't corrupt the kid. Xiao Ding's timid and hesitant answers suddenly made my heart ache. He wasn't trying to prove how noble pickles are. He just wanted to know if there was something wrong with him for liking pickles. Auntie Lacquerware cleared her throat, her voice still tinged with anger.
I'm going to teach you a lesson today. Scarcity makes things valuable. Those things faking it as beef or mutton, history is full of them. On the contrary, someone like you faking it as pickles is what's popular.
Elder sister. Is what Auntie said true?
Girl, use your words. Your aunt is right. And don't call me sister. It makes me feel old.
Oh.
Xiao Ding, let me ask you something. If I said you were the most beautiful lacquerware in the world, would you be?
No.
Why?
Because I'm a tripod, not lacquerware.
Exactly. Just because others say you're the lowest class of tripod, does that mean you really are the lowest class of tripod? I looked at its silent frame, knowing that something was finally starting to shift inside him. I didn't know if Xiao Ding really understood everything, but I do know that at least it's no longer retreating into its silent shell like before. Some wounds can't be healed with just one sentence, but as long as someone is willing to tell it that you're not inferior, you're just different. Other people's words only represent their own opinions, and don't define who you are. Those tripods think you're beneath them. But Auntie and I think you're the cutest tripod in the world. I'm leaving. See you when I see you. Auntie, you should stop learning pop songs. You'll be a bad influence on the kids. At that time, I didn't know that the world outside the gallery had already been turned upside down by today's fiasco. The Genius Girl and Sect Saintess hashtags were trending at the top. Later, the video of me repairing in the gallery was suddenly taking off. As for Zhou Changgang, netizens jokingly dubbed him the pretentious professor. I looked at the notifications constantly popping up on the screen, and suddenly realized that the real storm had only just begun. But the real storm was coming much faster than I imagined.
Listen up, class. Your professor had an emergency, so I'll be subbing today. I'm Zheng Yuanheng. I have a PhD in archaeology, and I'm currently in Professor Zhou Changgeng's research group as a postdoc. I heard a student in this class recently made a name for themselves at the museum. What a coincidence. Professor Zhou is my mentor. Small world.
He's definitely coming after me.
He's actually quite good at lecturing. His logic was clear, and his cases were detailed. The microscopic photos made the comparisons crystal clear. I slowly began to relax, thinking to myself, maybe I was just overthinking it. Until halfway through the class, Zheng Yuanheng suddenly closed his laptop and pulled a tray from under the podium.
I know there is a genius girl in this class. So I would like to invite this genius girl to come analyze this piece of pottery.
The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. It was almost imperceptible. But I caught it. I can't analyze it. Because this is a fake artifact. The classroom was silent for 3 seconds. Then there was a sudden burst of gasp.
What makes you say it's fake?
The markings. The object itself leaves the truth on its surface. It just depends on whether you're really looking.
Wait a second. That pottery shard was something I bought at an antique market. It's just a teaching prop. Nothing more to it.
Okay.
I just wanted to see if you're actually talented, or if it was just luck at the gallery.
So, have you figured it out now?
I have. On behalf of Professor Zhou, I'm telling you that he lost a bet that day. It was a fair loss.
3 days later, videos about me were edited into countless versions and shared everywhere. I blew up once again. Emails, calls, and messages one after another flooded my screen. Countless top experts offered me a direct path to a PhD. I suddenly felt a bit dazed. Just a few days ago, I was still at B City Academy of Fine Arts as a completely ordinary freshman, even getting nervous during roll call. But the more prestigious invitations I received, the heavier my heart felt. Because what they saw was talent and fame, a legend that could be featured in a recruitment brochure. But only I know that what I truly have is far from qualified. I didn't immediately reply to any of the invitations. Everyone was baffled by my rejection of all those offers. Even my advisor messaged me to ask for a reason.
Do you have a better offer?
He used to nag me about assignments and working on my fundamentals. Now, he's cautiously asking me if I have a better offer. About my plans, I certainly can't tell him. Outside the dorm window, the night looks ordinary. The world goes on as usual. I could follow fame and fortune. I could take the easiest path. I could accept an invitation from any industry titan and become a student everyone envies. But as soon as I close my eyes, it's not the applause I hear. Instead, it's the old lacquerware lady, clamoring for a sky blue glaze. It's the wushu tripod, asking itself tentatively if it's the lowest ranking vessel. In that moment, I realized that I couldn't possibly treat them as cold research subjects. My true intentions, actually, from the very beginning, have been hidden in those voices. Relic restoration can only repair the surface. Cracks can be glued. Rust can be cleaned. Fragments can be replaced. But after 1,000 years of hardship, the suffering these relics endured needs someone to listen and understand. I often think about that black lacquerware from the state of Guo.
I'm only 3,000 years old. I don't want to die yet. Little girl, save your old auntie.
Even though it's 3,000 years old, it still complains that the adhesive's color is too ugly. And at the brink of death, it would cry and beg me to save it. I also think about that wushu bronze tripod from the Eastern Han Dynasty.
Because they all laugh at me, they mock the salt and rust on my body, mock the grooves by my ears, and say for a fine vessel like me, to be used for pickles is literally a disgrace to them.
It's called a ritual vessel, placed under the spotlight to be admired. But what truly makes it sad is that it's mocked by other vessels just for liking pickles. Those voices are absurd and loud, even a bit funny. But as I laugh, my heart starts to ache. Because they were all once used and cherished, forgotten and misunderstood, and over the long years, they've settled into being mere exhibits. The gift I was given to talk to these artifacts shouldn't just be about winning a bet. After the exhibition ended that day, he saw Zhou Changgang's weight in the game, and also saw me, a freshman, might face in the future.
Here's my card. Though I'm not as capable as Professor Zhou. If you're down for it, the doors of the National Museum will always be open to you.
At that time, I just took the business card. I couldn't quite say what I was feeling. Until now, I finally understand the weight of those words. It wasn't a condescending recognition, nor was it a ticket to the world of fame and fortune. It was more like, away from all the noise, set aside for me, a quiet room.
Everyone, let me introduce a new friend. Shennuo. B. City Academy of Fine Arts, Cultural Relics Restoration Major. This year's outstanding graduate. Starting today, officially joining the National Museum Restoration Team.
I look forward to learning from you all.
As for Zhou Changgang, he's been much quieter these past 2 years.
I heard his academician application failed again. I didn't comment, but I knew his situation was about much more than a failed application. The Zhou Changgang scandal broke that winter. It started with a young restorer at Gugong, while clearing out the storage room. He found a batch of bronzes labeled as restored by Zhou Changgang. One artifact's repair marks showed modern industrial adhesive. In his report, he claimed he used traditional lacquer. Originally, this was just a material violation. But following that lead exposed much more. For many artifacts he restored, the pre-restoration and post-restoration reports showed inconsistent data. The news exploded in the circle. Academic fraud and data manipulation. He crossed every red line. The National Cultural Heritage Administration formed a special task force. A verdict came 3 months later. They revoked all of Zhou Changgang's honorary titles and issued a public censure within the industry. The day I saw the notice, I was restoring a Tang Dynasty sea beast and great mirror.
This person. I think I've heard of him.
You don't know him. Get some rest. Tomorrow I'll apply the final protective coating.
Are you sad?
No. I just feel like, after spending 40 years in this field, ending up like this, it's just depressing.
I don't understand you humans, but I think you're doing a good job. Your hands are steady whenever you touch me. They're warm, too.
You're right. A steady hand and a steady heart are all that matters. By the end of that year, the Bureau of Cultural Heritage announced the latest Cultural Relics Restoration Lifetime Achievement Awards. My name was at the top of the list.
You're back. Auntie has been waiting for you. Tell me, were you nervous on stage?
I was. But thinking of you all waiting for me, I wasn't nervous anymore.
Elder sister, you're a grandmaster now. Does that make me a grandmaster's vessel?
You've always been the world's best pickling vessel. The night hangs heavy outside, but this room is filled with souls that are 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 years old. They're all awake, waiting for me to come home. I've always known that restoration only repairs the exterior, but the hardships these relics endured through thousands of years of wind and frost require someone to listen and understand. Heaven gave me the ability to talk to relics. So, I will be the one to listen.